What if we measured success by happiness instead of money? Most countries measure success using money, so GDP, growth, productivity. But one country decided to ask a completely different question. Are our people actually happy? And that idea became known as gross national happiness. Gross national happiness was created in the 1970s in Bhutan. And the king famously said, gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product. Instead of just measuring the wealth of our country, let's actually measure the happiness and well-being of our people using these 9 measures. Mental well-being, health, education, community, environment, governance, time balance, culture, and living standards. As this has developed over the last 40-50 years, the world has learned from Bhutan, and now there's a World Happiness Report which surveys people using a multitude of factors and measures to understand how happy are our people, what's the well-being of our people, aside from how much we're growing as a country, how wealthy we are. And instead of focusing on money, shifting the focus to actually happiness. What is success to you? Is success money? Is success happiness? Can they be both? Let's find out. For decades, countries across the world were measuring GDP and growth and using that factor as the most important thing as to how well a country is doing. In learning from Bhutan, actually now the United Nations produce a World Happiness Report in March every year. They survey over 100,000 people in over 140 countries to understand the happiness and well-being of people across the world. So in the survey, people are asked one simple question. On a scale from 0 to 10, how satisfied are you with your life right now? The World Happiness Report differentiates the happiness between countries using 6 specific factors. So these 6 things are what actually make people happier, which is slightly different to the G and H we just talked about. There's 9 factors that are measured in Bhutan, but the World Happiness Report looks at 6 key things that differentiate what actually makes people happy. The first factor is social support, so family and friends, and that support network that you might have. It's really, really important. Like as humans, we're social beings and social animals. We look for connection and that helps us thrive. And the question that's asked in the report is, in times of trouble, do you have someone that you can count on? Do you have someone that's there for you that you can rely on? Like when we're born, we're dependent 100% on somebody who's caring for us. Then we become independent. We can do things ourselves. The layer above that is interdependence. Like, yeah, I can do it all myself. But if I've got a bit of help, if I've got friends and family and people I can rely on to support me with the thing, that just helps me get it done in a much easier way, happier. Together we can share the workload. And you might have heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child. Who's in your village? Who's helping you? Who's supporting you when times get hard? And that is the important part in what we look at first with social support. And that's the first factor, how well you're socially supported with friends, family, and otherwise in how happy you are. Factor number 2 is financial well-being and financial stability. So average income per household is how it's measured. And financial stability, although it's not the most important thing, features high on world happiness because it has a massive impact on our ability to be part of the economy. If you've ever been financially unstable and you're having to think about, can I afford to eat today? That can have a massive impact on your well-being. So financial stability is factor number 2 on the key factors list of the World Happiness Report. The third key factor in happiness is health, physical health and life expectancy. And it's looked at people who are in good health, and it kind of, the report looks at the life expectancy on average of that particular country. One of the biggest factors in increasing life expectancy is being able to walk. Walk outside for 20 minutes a day can massively increase one's life expectancy. So I'm inviting you, I'm asking you, I'm encouraging you to get that walk in. Yeah, there's other factors in that, such as sleep, such as mood, nutrition, but physically, walking for 20 minutes a day is the biggest contributing factor to increasing one's life expectancy. Factor number 4 is the freedom to make life choices, life decisions, such as moving location, moving job, and just feeling in control of your life. That's a massive influence on, actually, do you have autonomy? Are you being told what to do? Do you have freedom and control? The way it's measured in the report is via the question, are you free to make your own life decisions? Giving back, whether it's time, money, charity, donations, helping someone, is factor number 5. Generosity, whether that's giving back time, helping someone, charity, donations, volunteering, and just generally helping somebody. It's measured in 2 ways. So charitable donations and helping strangers. And helping people, especially for me in terms of coaching, when I've helped people, that gives me a great internal sense of happiness. So I'm a massive advocate of factor number 5, feature on the report, which is generosity. Factor number 6 is trust. So trust in like generally society, but also like government as well. And it looks at 3 things. So safety, stability, and confidence. So the lower the corruption, generally that trust is higher. So trust is the final 6th factor in the World Happiness Report, and what the main 6 factors contribute towards overall happiness. If we're looking at younger people, they're less happy than they've been. Social media is playing a factor in people's happiness. So higher use of social media typically results in lower overall happiness and well-being. Because we're social beings and social connection is part of that. So social media can seem like we're connecting more, but actually, comparatively, when we look on those platforms, that can make us feel more distant and disconnected to the people around us. Finland and Scandinavian Nordic countries seem to be doing something right, because year on year, they're ranking higher than most of the countries in the world. And Finland continues to do something that we can all learn from, as well as Bhutan, about overall happiness and well-being. So what does this all mean for us? Happiness is not random. Happiness is measurable, and we can do something about it. We can consciously help ourselves become happier. If we look at the gross national happiness in Bhutan, one of those 9 factors, and seeing which one of them is going to make the biggest difference in your life. Looking at the 6 key factors across the globe, which impacts overall happiness and well-being based on the World Happiness Report, and figuring out, all right, where do I need to put the most energy for the next sort of 3 months? So like to summarize that all, the main 6 elements that contribute towards happiness across the world are relationships, health, purpose, freedom, giving, and trust, not just money. Bhutan asked a really powerful question. What if success isn't about wealth, but about well-being? So maybe the real life goal isn't to be rich. Maybe the goal is to live well.